Okay, so welcome to the LIMER Personal Finance Clinic. Today, this is another beautiful episode, I can assure you. Today we have a number of questions around personal finance that we're going to answer. And so I'll just go ahead to share my screen and we all can see the questions that came in this week. All right? Thank you again for being a part of this. Thank you. Thank you for turning up. Okay. So it's a personal finance clinic, and the idea behind the personal finance clinic sessions is to make provisions for several people to listen in as the particular personal finance question is being answered. We want to maximize the time that we share at these sessions. So rather than simply come on for yourself, right, you could have several of your friends come together, have their questions answered, and everyone can listen in as we go. So moving on quickly from there, right, it's good for us to set the stage. Why are we here? Why are we doing this? Why are we holding a personal finance clinic? As you can see, right? If you can see my screen, of course. Man can live for about 40 days without food, for about 3 days without water, for about 8 minutes without air, and only for 1 second without hope. That's a quote by Han Lindsay. About this time, a lot of people are overwhelmed by the happenings around. People are plagued with fear. Some people have even become paralyzed by this fear. And so what the main reason we're doing this is just to provide hope, right? Give you a reason to look forward to tomorrow. Don't give up, because a lot of changes have occurred in a very short time. And I admit it can be really uncomfortable, but the truth is, you can handle it, okay? So that's the first reason we're having this, right? Help you to get back the hope that you need to move on from here in spite of the many different changes that the coronavirus has brought to our world, okay? You can thrive, not just in spite of those changes, but because of those changes. And that's what we're going to look at during the session today. The other thing is, it's good to find comfort from listening to other people, from just finding out that other people are going through the same things. Other people have the same questions that you have on your mind, right? And finally, because we want to get practical, we want you to come to see that there is a specific way to address your specific situation, right? It's not enough to hear the general advice, right, that you typically get from seminars around this time. People telling you how bad the situation is, how worse it could get before it gets better. And sometimes that can be stressful for a person, right? So sometimes you're only learning how bad the thing is, and not how you can, in spite of how bad it is, improve on your own specific situation. So one of the things we want to do today is to get practical with the solutions that we provide around the personal finance queries that we have, okay? So who is Olubunmi, all right? Maybe you know me, maybe you do not know me, but headline title is what? The Money Therapist. What I do is to help business and career professionals to get better at managing their money. Recently, I moved into the village to help rural dwellers, right? So I'm here to run a rural finance program, not only for people who have no formal education, but people who have some formal education, some level of formal education, but are not able to attend the same trainings, the same seminars that people in the city have access to, right? So the rural finance program is focused not only on personal finance, but also on entrepreneurship. because everyone, I think it's Muhammad Yunus that said, everyone is an entrepreneur, but not everybody has the opportunity to find out. So what we want to do through this rural finance program is to help people who either do not have access to formal education or who are compelled to live away from where most of the trainings take place. Help them to get access to the same information that they need to decide on whether they could be better entrepreneurs than they are, or whether they could be entrepreneurs at all. Okay, so that's what I'm doing about this time. But another dimension to all this, right? Another thing you need to know about who Olubunmi is how I set out about a decade ago, slightly over a decade ago, to attempt to overcome fear ab initio, right? Overcome the fear of not having a job, overcome the fear of not knowing whether the job will be there tomorrow, not knowing whether you're going to lose the job. I had heard a particular story that jolted me, that helped me to see that, see, it's better to overcome this fear rather than postpone it until much later, right? For many people, I mean, about this time, we know that a lot of people have lost their jobs, and our hearts go out to those people who have lost their jobs at this time. Some people are prepared for it, most people are not, right? And because I started out on this journey a long time ago, I think that there's a lot that I can share in terms of building your life in such a way that whether or not there's a formal job, whether or not you are employed, you have what I call personal finance equilibrium. You have as much money as you need per time, right? To live your life with some measure of comfort or a lot of comfort. Okay. And finally, right, since I spoke earlier on about the rural finance program that I now run, since I moved into the village, I have seen that things are way more affordable than they are in the city. And that just might be somebody's strategy, right? Maybe that is really what you need to do at this time, right? A lot of employers are beginning to embrace remote work. A lot of employers are beginning to agree that you don't have to show up at work every day, right? So maybe this is the time to say, since I do not have to commute, it means I can live anywhere as long as there's internet, strong internet, and there's stable power supply, okay? So I just thought to put that out there. The prices of things around here have been almost ridiculous, right? Almost unbelievable, like for real. I mean, how come it's this affordable, right? So it might be something you want to consider at this time, especially if you really do not need to commute, if you do not need to go from one place to another. I think you can just go ahead and find a location that's more affordable for you. Find a location that is not as expensive as the place where you used to live in the past, right? Because that just might be what you need to do differently at this time. And that's why I thought to share that part of my story. So now you know who Olubunmi is, okay? So now we get to answering your questions. It's why we're here after all. Okay, so our first question is from somebody who is OO. OO is 34 years old and wants to know how to manage 100,000. There's no currency attached, but we're going to assume that this person now needs to find a way to live on 100,000. Let's just use Naira. Yeah? I think that works. For a lot of people at this time who have lost their jobs or who have had to take a pay cut, there's that question of how do I now manage? How do I now, I mean, in the past, I used to have maybe ×5 for what I earn now. Right now, I have just this little, amount of money that I still have to stay alive. So how do I do it? I imagine, and I hope I'm right, that is the question that OO is asking us. So if we say it's 100,000 Naira, dollars, euro, whatever currency it is, here's what you need to know, okay? There are several money formulae that are out there, right? Some people say I think the most popular is the 50-30-20 rule. Now you have 100,000 naira, I assume, and you do not know how to manage that. You do not know how to allocate, because it's really about allocating to the different needs that you have. So here will be my suggestion. The 50-30-20 rule for managing money says you should allocate 50% of your income. We're getting some interference. Looks like I may have to turn off your microphone.
It has connected the audio
microphone so that it doesn't interfere with the recording. Yeah, I just did that. Okay. And welcome, by the way. Welcome to this session. Okay, so back to what I was saying about the 50-30-20 rule. So the 50-30-20 rule suggests that you should allocate 50% of your income to your needs, those things that are compulsory, those things that you absolutely must pay for every month. And then 30% to your wants, the nice to haves, those things that will make you a little happier, provide you a little more comfort. Yeah, those you should allocate 30% of your income to. And then the remaining 20% of your income should be allocated towards your savings and your investments, your long-term investments. Now that is one suggestion. Remember that all these are what suggestions. Nobody really should be able to, nobody should be allowed to legislate how you spend your money. Okay, so they are really suggestions and it's up to you. So if you want to adopt the 50-30-20 rule, for example, it means that you're going to allocate 50,000 naira to the things that are absolutely compulsory, like feeding, like rent, like transportation, right? Like utilities. Yeah, you need to pay for lights, pay for water, yeah, pay for power. That's the appropriate word. So, yeah, you allocate 50,000 naira of your 100,000 naira to that. And then 30,000 naira goes to the nice to haves. Okay, I want to eat out. I want to go to the movies someday. I want to, the nice to haves. I need, maybe an outfit that fits a particular occasion more than the other. Those are things that you can allocate your 30,000 naira to. And then 20,000 naira of the 100,000 naira that you have will be allocated towards long-term investments. So you save it or you invest that amount of money. Now, like I said, that is one suggestion. There are others. You could, for example, adopt the 10-20-30-40 principle, and this is seen as the most balanced of all the suggestions out there, of all the money management formulas around there. You could decide that you're adopting the 10-20-30-40 principle. And what does this say? 10% of your income is allocated to tithes or charity, depending on, some people are religion inclined, some people are charity inclined. So just about 10%, right, of your income is allocated to tithes. 20% is allocated to spending, meaning you're going to confine yourself to spending only 20% of your income per time. And then 30% is allocated to savings, while 40% is allocated to investments. I'll take that again. It's the 10-20-30-40 principle. 10% to tithes, 20% is what you spend, 30% is what you save, and 40% is what you invest. Now, why is it considered the most balanced? It's because you're not going to work throughout your life, okay? Chances are that maybe at 50, 60, maybe 70, in some cases, you're going to be forced to go on retirement if you don't go willingly. Okay, so if you push up a lot more of your income into the future, then you're going to have a more relaxed retirement compared with if you only put 20% of your income right now towards long-term investments that you're going to benefit from after you retire. So there's the 50, 30, 20 rule. I already explained that. I also just finished explaining the 10, 20, 30, 40 principle, which is another suggestion. Another one you can use is to use what it is that your employer has outlined for you, okay? You could use your pay slip. If you work in a formal organization where you get a pay slip, you have all those allowances, entertainment allowance, transportation allowance, clothing allowance. You know, you could just look through that breakdown and use that to decide how you are going to allocate your 100,000 naira. I keep using naira, assuming that this person means naira and not euros or yen. So that is it. Those are suggestions, but at the end of the day, you are the one who still gets to decide how you want to allocate your 100,000 in whatever currency it is. Okay, let's move along quickly to the next question. Next question is from BA, and BA is 29. BA is interested in learning about investment opportunities. Okay, what does it mean to invest? What is an opportunity? I usually like to break it down into the simplest forms so that understanding is enhanced, okay? Investment is the way by which you multiply money. While for saving, you put money aside, sometimes for emergencies, sometimes for splurging, for luxury splurges. But investment is you what? Finding a way to multiply the money. And you can multiply the money by spending it on other people, or you can multiply the money by spending it on yourself. So if you, for example, take a personal development course, okay, that is investing in your own mind. So you have invested money, you have multiplied money by expanding your own mind, by increasing the value that you can give to the world, such that very soon the world begins to pay you for the value that you now give to them. Okay, so investment is basically what? Finding a way to multiply the money. And like I just finished explaining, you can either focus on yourself, focus on the rest of the world, or do the two, right? There are no limitations. For BA, who is 29 and is interested in investment opportunities, here's what I'm going to say. As with managing your money, which we just talked about, with investing your money, no one should tell you how to invest your money, where to put your money. I shouldn't come to you to say, for example, oh, hey, BA, your neighbor just began a business. So yeah, go invest in that business. I shouldn't do that. You shouldn't allow me to do that to your money. You made the sacrifices to put the money together. And so you should get to decide how you want to allocate. But it's important that you find out, one, what you already know about, or what you're interested in learning about, right? Find out what you already know about or what you're interested in learning about before you commit your money to any such investment opportunity, right? And that's the money principle I'm about to share. Money always moves in the direction of knowledge. Money always moves in the direction of knowledge. It is what you know about that you're likely to profit from. So it's fine if you don't know about it yet, but you really want to one day be able to be able to learn sufficiently about that venture, then it's fine, right? We all pay for our ignorance at the end of the day. We all pay for our ignorance. The reason I'll pay my dressmaker is because I'm ignorant of how to make an outfit. So my dressmaker is coming to my rescue in that area, and that's why I pay my dressmaker. The reason I'll pay my car repairer, right, my mechanic, is because I am ignorant about fixing a car. So it means that what I'm paying him for or her for, the lady mechanics these days, what I'm paying them for is what the ignorance that I experience in that field. So as with, similar to that, for every investment opportunity that is presented to you, you need to find out, do I know enough about this opportunity? If I do not know enough about it, am I willing to learn, right? Is it an area that interests me? Is it an area that I can easily learn about? Is it an area that won't cost me much to learn, okay? If it won't cost me much to learn about it, then that's fine. But if it's also, if you have 100,000, for example, and then it's going to cost you 90,000 naira to learn about the business, about that investment opportunity, then maybe you shouldn't look in that direction too much, right? Find something else that won't cost you as much, won't cost you up to 90% of the amount of money you have earmarked for investments, right? That's very important. So while I won't be able to tell you, go invest in this or in that, right? Think about whether you know enough about a thing or whether you're interested in learning about it so that your investment, so that the money that you have allocated to investments is preserved. It doesn't disappear down the drain, okay? Yeah, I could tell you about some of LIMER personal finance resources, some of the LIMER personal finance resources that you will find useful along your journey to learning more about money. So it's a book I wrote titled, Hello, My Name is Money, and it's a blind date with money. So think about if money were to present itself to you, if money were to show up to introduce itself to you, what is money going to tell you about it, right? I mean, just typical of a blind date. You want to know more about the other person such that you can decide on whether to remain friends beyond that date. Okay. So that pretty much is what the book is going to help you to. It's an easy read, right? It's going to help you to see whether you know enough about money. As desirable as money is to a lot of us, not everybody understands how money works. And I think that to improve your money relationship, it's good for you to understand how money works, how money thinks, right? What money likes. And you begin to do those things. Okay, so there's a paperback and there's a Kindle version. If you visit amazon.com/author/Olubumi Samuel Adeyemi, that's my full name, Olubumi Samuel Adeyemi. So amazon.com/author/Olubumi Samuel Adeyemi. That is going to lead you directly to the place where you place an order for the book. Yeah. So like I said, there's the paperback and there's the Kindle edition, whichever one you prefer. Some of us like to smell the book as we open it. Others prefer the digital copies. So please do well to check that out. All right. So we move to the next question. This is asked by NK, who is 43. NK wants to know how to manage money better, and there's a background to this. The background to the question is how to separate business from personal finance effectively and remain liquid always. How to separate business from personal finance effectively and remain liquid always. So NK has just said to us that he or she is 43 years old, runs a business. That's why he or she is interested in separating business from personal finance. So runs a business, earns an income from that business, but still needs to be able to live his or her life devoid of the business or separated effectively, separated financially from the business. Now, let me share a little bit about that. You see, for many of us who do business, at the time that you start out, you are the business, okay? Everything you own is dedicated towards the business. You have a phone, you use it to do business. You have a laptop, you use it to do the business. You have a car, it's dedicated to, it contributes to the business one way or the other, even if it's to help you to get from one meeting to another more easily. So everything that you have, every asset is dedicated towards the business. And that's fine at the beginning. But you see, if you're not careful, you tend to get an entitlement mentality about the money that the business generates. You say to yourself, well, after all, I made all the sacrifices for the money. So why should anybody keep me from allocating it as I please? Now, here's what you need to understand. The business has a life of its own. The business is a baby that needs to be nurtured, okay? When you give birth to a child today, you don't expect to start reaping rewards from the child immediately. You have to do a lot of deposits, right? A lot of pouring into the child before you now begin to expect anything in the first place. So what does that say? While the business is generating income for you, the business needs sufficient nutrition, aka money. aka cash. The business needs that to be able to survive. If the business does not have that, then the business is going to die. So what does that say? You need to, first of all, find out whether the business can afford you. The truth is that many of us are running businesses that cannot afford us yet. And please don't deceive yourself by the fact that, oh, after all, I work in this organization and I'm paid this much. So when I start my business, I should start pulling as much. You may have to do business for even up to 5 years before you are able to pay, what your employer used to pay to you. That's the truth. The organization in which you work probably has existed for longer than your business. Okay? The organization may even be really recent, but may have gotten funding from somewhere else. The dynamics are just different between your own business and the business that you used to work for. Okay? So you need to say that to yourself. That's the first place. Say to yourself, even though I run the business, even though I make all the sacrifices for the business, it's very possible that the business cannot afford me yet. And I must check. So how do you check, right? You have to create a budget. You have to find out precisely how much money you make from the business. So first is, and that's what empowers your budget. That's what ensures that your budget works. The first thing you do is to track your expenses. Write down everything, how much money is coming in, where the money is going to, what it is that the money is helping you to achieve, right? Write everything down. By the time you've done this for a period of time, sometimes in a month you have the figures you need. Sometimes you may have to do this for up to 3 months, right? Sometimes you even may have to do it for longer, but you have a general idea, right? From tracking your expenses. Don't do head knowledge. Don't say, no, but I just have an idea. No, I just know, this is my thing. I just know. Don't say that. Write it down. Track your expenses. Write down exactly how money is coming in and how money is going out. And then you can create a budget based on the amount of money that has come in during this period and the amount of money that has gone out this period. I can project that this is what I'm going to need over the next 5, 6, 10, 20 months, okay? And then that's how you check. So it is after you have made all the allocations that you will now check how much is left and how much the business can conveniently pay you without dying, okay? Now that's when you're able to check. You don't want to draw too much from the business such that the business collapses and you're not able to keep it going, okay? A personal example was a time, this was about 11 years ago, right? I was running business at the time and I put myself on a salary of 5,000 Naira. Even though I put my estimated salary from an employer as 80,000 Naira. So yes, times 16 of that, yes. So I felt, okay, my business, yes, I'm doing business, but at the time I was also seeking formal employment. And I put the amount of money I'd like to earn from an employer at 80,000 Naira. And I put the amount of money I could earn from my own business at 5,000 Naira without killing the business, right? So to separate yourself, to answer NK's question more directly, to separate yourself from the business effectively and to remain liquid always, you need to say to yourself, yes, I make all the sacrifices for this business, but I'm not allowed to kill it. I'm going to wait until later in future when I have generated sufficient money to be able to even pay myself an arrears, right? I can pay myself the arrears of all this salary that I had, given up at the beginning. A time is coming, that's just a principle of life. A time is coming when you will make money faster than you can spend it. But how many businesses get to that level? How many businesses are able to replicate money like that? Yeah, it depends on the sacrifices you made at the beginning. So yes, you're already making a lot of sacrifices, committing your personal assets to running the business, but you need to take it a little further, okay? Track your expenses over time, create a budget, find out how much the business can pay you without crumbling, and then restrict yourself to just that amount that the business can pay you. Now here's what, the amount might be little, the amount might even be nothing. It's also possible that the amount will be nothing, like the business cannot pay you anything. What does that say? Think of the other abilities that you have. Think of the other things that you can do to earn some income, right? There are other abilities that you have. There are other skills that you have. Even if it's just that, oh, you know people. The fact that you know people might be a money spinner for you. The fact that you are in a particular location. The fact that you have a skill that you didn't even pay to learn, but you just know how to do it. The fact that you are able to connect one person to the other and they do business with each other, they pay you a commission. Those are other things that you can do to earn money, pending when the business can pay you as much as you want it to. But do not kill the business because you made all the sacrifices at the beginning. Wait until the sacrifices are worth it, right? And that's how you remain liquid all the time. That's how, I mean, it's thinking about all your other abilities and monetizing them. That's how you remain liquid rather than depending entirely on the business to get you money. The money comes in, it's gone before it even lands, right? Think of other things that you can do, other abilities that you have to earn money. And talking about managing money better, you know, you could refer to the question I answered earlier on about the different money management formulae. Decide on which one you want to adopt, and you can move on from there. Okay, this is by IE. IE is 42 and wants to know how to create wealth. Okay, how to create wealth. You see, money comes to you in exchange for the value that you give out. Okay, money flows in your direction based on the problems that you have solved for other people. So you need to check, you need to find out what problems am I solving, or what problems can I solve? That's how to create wealth. People will pay you when you have a solution to their problem. So if you're thinking of creating wealth, think of the problems that you can solve. Now, how do you, I mean, business idea generation is maybe a 3-day topic sometimes, but I'll just try to shorten it a bit, okay? Think of different personas, right? Think of different circumstances, think of different human beings, think of different professions, think of different age brackets, think of different, you know, by the time you think about people in the different dimensions there are to them, it'll be easier for you to find out what their problems are. So I could pick a new mother. It's Mother's Day today, by the way. Happy Mother's Day to everyone listening to this, okay? So think of a new mother. What are the problems that she has? A new mother is certainly unsure of herself, right? There's that, it's called baby blues. You're just depressed, postpartum depression. That's not a more technical term for it, right? So you're just unsure of a lot of things. Am I going to do well with this child? Would I still be attractive to my husband? Would I be kind enough, nice enough to family members who are coming to live with us for the first time? Especially if you live in Africa, that's typical, right? Some family members are going to relocate to your house to help you to take care of the baby. Am I going to do right by them? Would I get judged by the fact that I'm speaking a certain way to them or to my husband or to my baby? How am I even sure that I'm not doing anything wrong that's going to affect the child in future? Those are the typical thoughts going through the mind of a new mother. So the question is, how can you solve her problem? The different problems that have been identified, the unsureness about whether she's doing the right thing. How can you help her? She probably has specific cravings. Maybe she had to give up some kind of foods during the pregnancy because she didn't want the baby to be too big, or she just wanted to stay healthy and all that. And then now is the time when she just wants to eat everything in sight. How can you help her? Okay, just in case she's not looking in that direction, just in case she's more concerned about keeping fit. Oh, so she barely managed to allow herself to grow big and accommodate the baby. Now that the baby is out, she wants to get back to her former weight in 2 weeks. That's a problem for her. How can you help her solve that problem? she really wants to be able to maybe go back to work, right? So she got just 3 months of maternity leave, and maybe she even took 2 months before the baby came, and then she's had just 1 month. Now she needs to go back to work. She has a problem of, where do I keep my child that is safe, that I can trust that the hygiene level is high enough, that I can trust that my baby is not going to catch some disease I have to deal with in future, right? Those are concerns for a new mother. A new mother may also want to have fun. So maybe she had a difficult pregnancy, she couldn't have fun like she usually likes to. She couldn't hang out with the girls, for example, and now she wants to do that. But she has a baby, right? Who she fears is going to keep her home, keep her at home for longer than she wants to be at home. How can you help her to solve that problem? See all the business ideas that have come out of thinking of a pregnant, thinking of a new mother. Now think of what an old man in the village. An old man in the village misses his friends. An old man possibly is compelled to be there, not because he wants to go back to the village, but because he doesn't have any of his children who can house him at that time. An old man wants to tell stories, and believe me, it's a problem to want to talk and not have anybody to talk to. The typical old man wants to still eat healthy. So he knows the importance of eating healthy. He's probably seen a lot of his friends pass, and he doesn't want to get down with a disease and all, you know. So maybe he's concerned about his health. How can you help him? Can you, for example, market to him fitness gadgets, right? Maybe just a wristwatch that helps him to know how many steps he's taking each day, helps him to monitor his heart rate, helps him to, you know. So those are the problems of what the average old man. Remember, we're talking about how to create wealth. And we said that to create wealth, you need to think about the problems that people have and then seek out solutions. You may create the solutions yourself, or you may not. You may find somebody who has created the solution, and then you market the solution to the people who have that problem. Maybe the solution already exists, but in a raw form. Maybe you can improve on the solution that exists and market that instead. Okay, so you might create a new solution altogether to the problems that you have identified. You could also refine an existing solution, because that's also something. Create the solution, refine the solution. You could simplify it, right? Make it faster, make it cheaper, make it lighter, make it. Those are things that you can consider even as you seek to solve problems. So don't be so stuck up on, oh, everything has been done. Yeah, there's nothing new under the sun. So how am I going to? I mean, what solution would I create? No, don't limit yourself to the things that exist already. I'll share this philosophy that I learned from Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs says that he starts out, when he's trying to create a solution, he starts out believing that people do not even know what they want. People are not conscious of what they are missing out on. And so you need to tell them that. You need to help them to see that they are missing on something, and tell them how urgent it is that they acquire it, and give them reasons to give up every other thing and make their money available to that solution that you have created. Okay? So to IE, who is 42, that will be the suggestion. Think of different groups of people, think of different professions, think of different age brackets, think of different life circumstances. Write out a list of all the problems that each of these people are likely to face, and then seek out solutions that you can either create, or you can refine, or you can simply market, right, to these people. That's how you create wealth. Okay, so here's another LIMER resource that you might find useful as well. It's similar to what we're doing here. This is the LIMER Personal Finance Clinic, but this is, I mean, even though we tagged it a clinic, it's actually a hangout, because it's more than one person listening in as we answer the questions of other people. But just in case you are more private, right? You don't want Maybe you want that one-on-one touch, or you don't want other people to know about your business. You have a specific question, you need to provide details, and you don't want to provide the details in public. You want to remain anonymous, meaning just you and a staff of LIMER Personal Finance. Then the Personal Finance Clinic is the service that's going to help you. It focuses on a specific issue and it helps you to think through all the different dimensions to it, such that you now you know what to do. You find the clarity that you need at the end of the session. And then you could have a personal finance hangout, which I hinted at earlier on. And this is a personal finance clinic with more than one person, right? They say that one poor man in the reach of, one rich man, sorry, in the midst of 6 poor people is only the 7th poor person. So just in case you're keen on bringing your friends along, bringing your family members along this journey to learning about money and how it works, then the personal finance hangout is it for you, right? Consider inviting other people along, and everybody's listening to every other person, and you can chat a course forward, okay? Now we move on to other questions. Any ideas? So this is by KN, who is 49. KN wants to know if there are any ideas on how to generate income at this period, and we have a background to that. So KN says, I am a photographer, and due to the COVID-19 social distance law that forbids people from having events, no parties are happening at the moment, and it has really affected my cash flow. Yeah. So KN wants to know how to generate income this period. It's very similar to the question I just answered about how to create wealth, okay? So consider solving the problems of other people. That really is the way to go. That's the way to generate income. People would eat today. I mean, they'll pay for food before almost every other thing. Why? Because hunger is a pressing problem for them. So think about the problems that you can solve. Now, in the past, we were solving the problem of documenting memories. That's what a photographer does. But right now, people aren't even creating those memories, let alone documenting them. And so there will be other things that people are focused on. So think about what it is that you can do to solve the problems of other people. Of course, I'm not oblivious of the fact that there might be skill gaps. There might be even sometimes the absence of other skills. The truth is, you can't exactly be without skills. Okay, you may not have the skills that people need at this time, or the skills that people will pay for at this time, but you cannot. I mean, God won't create a human being who is not productive to the world. Okay, so there are other things that you can do, and here's an example. You can collaborate with other people. Maybe you do not know how to let's say make bags, for example, but you realize that a lot of people in a particular neighborhood are keen on carrying this particular bag. You could decide to market it. So yeah, you may not have gone to school for marketing. Maybe you've never even sold anything in your life. But at this time, the person who is manufacturing is holed up somewhere, you know, creating the bags. You can be the word on the streets for this person. So you take the bags, you go and advertise to the people who need them, the people that you have observed, that you have seen have a need for them, okay? So do not hold back because it feels like, well, all I know how to do is photography. Anything beyond that, I never trained for it. No, there will be something that you know how to do that you can monetize. There will be people that you can collaborate with. There will be something that you're good at, you never thought you could make money from, but now is when you will find out that you really can make money from those things. The truth is that austerity forces creativity out of you. We're all very creative people, and you are a creative. I see that being that you already built a business around photography. Right now, austerity, seeming scarcity, seeming, and I say seeming because there's no scarcity anywhere in actual fact, but seeming scarcity forces you to become more creative. Necessity is the mother of invention, like they say. So do not allow yourself to be overwhelmed and discouraged by the fact that there aren't parties anymore. There will be other things that you can do to bring value to people, and then they'll give money to you, as long as what you're solving a problem. So think about problems that you can solve at this time, and that is the way to generate income at this time. So we move on to the next question. Next question is by UV, who is 23. And UV says, so UV has two questions. How do you find the right business to move into as a startup? Background is UV is an undergraduate finalist who wants to be an employer. So how does an undergraduate finalist who wants to be an employer find the right business to move into as a startup? Okay, pretty much that's what we just discussed, yeah? Think of problems that you can solve for other people, right? And that is what you build a business around. You don't start business because you feel like, you don't start business even because you know how to do a thing. You should start a business because there's a need, because people are willing to pay for it, because people are able to pay for that need, to have that need met, right? That is why you should start a business. So even as you think of a business to start right now, being an undergraduate finalist and who wants to be an employer, think of what the problems that people have, right? The problems that people are willing to pay for, the problems that people are able to pay for, because you might be willing but not able, right? You might, be willing to pay to carry, maybe to use a particular kind of wristwatch. You might be willing to, but you may not be able to pay for that wristwatch. Okay, so think of problems that people have at this time that they are able to pay for. They're not just willing, but they're able to pay for, and then build a business around it. Okay, the next question says, what are the best ways to invest? Okay, we kind of addressed this at the beginning as well, but I'll just say a little bit more about it. What are the best ways to invest? What are the best ways to multiply your money? Think about those things that you already know about or that you're willing to learn about. Investing is putting your money into a thing so that it multiplies, so that it's working for you, so that you're not having to do the active work, right? You're working somewhere, you're working at a thing or several things, you're earning money from that, and then you're now making the money available to another thing so that it can multiply. So what are the best ways to do this is to find out what you know about, find out what you're willing to learn about, right? And then when you put in some money in there, the money is what is acquiring knowledge for you, right? You're learning about that investment opportunity, learning about that business, whatever it is that you're investing in. And then very soon, the money that you have put into it will multiply. Okay? Yeah, so two more personal finance resources that you might enjoy. And this is, so the first is the personal budgeting session, okay? Personal budgeting session helps you to allocate your money. Remember the first question we addressed today was talking about how to manage a certain sum of money. That pretty much is what the personal budgeting session helps you to do, especially now that some people have had to take a pay cut. Some people have had to pivot into a new business. You need to find out, you need to prepare, yeah? So a budget is pretty much a plan. You need to prepare for how you're going to allocate the income that you generate from that particular venture. So the beauty of some people say, oh no, budgeting doesn't work for me. No, I'm not that kind of person. Many times, the reason a budget doesn't work is because the budget is one-sided at the time it was created. Because the budget only thought about, oh, this is how I want to allocate the money that I hope will come. Yeah, that I hope I will earn. So even if you start a job today and then your employer promises to pay you at the end of the month, it is still what the promise. The promise hasn't been fulfilled yet, right? We're hoping that the promise will be fulfilled. So you need to think about not just how you allocate the money that you're hoping will come, but even how to ensure that the money comes. So for example, your budget can show you that you're going to need, let's use the same figure, you're going to need 100,000 naira to survive each month. That may be what your budget is going to show to you. Now the budget shows you that, but if you do not settle down to fix the other part of the budget, which is the income part, how will this 100,000 naira come? Maybe from my job, from my day job, I only earn 50,000 naira. but my budget has shown me that I need a minimum of 100,000 naira to live. How do I get the additional 50,000 so that I'm not stranded sometime during the month? That is what the personal budgeting session is going to help you to achieve. So consider coming on that. The other is a money therapy session. Now, the money therapy session digs in a little further, helps you to find out why you behave the way you behave in relation to money. You see, personal finance is behavioral. That's the basic. It's a function of our behavior. It's a function of what we believe, of what we think. That's what dictates our actions. Now, what happens if what you believe about money is wrong? Or what happens if what you believe about money wasn't wrong in the past, but is now wrong? Right? You know, you're going to have a personal finance, a money behavior that is not productive to you and not productive to the rest of the world. Okay? So the money therapy session takes you through a series of tests and it's also a series of conversations as well. Helps you to dig in to find out why you behave the way you behave, why you're too prudent or not prudent at all. Okay, whichever end you fall on. So the money therapy session basically helps you to dig in, and then we now correct what may have been wrong programming, right? We correct that so that going forward, your money habits will improve. Your money relationship will be more of you being the master than money being the master. Okay, so consider a money therapy session with LIMER Personal Finance. Okay. Final question for today. How do I know the investment option that best suits me? And this is asked by OA, who is 38. How do I know the investment option that best suits me? Great question. Now, the investment option that one will go for depends on, I already harped enough on knowledge, right? But there's also who you are, where you are. No matter how viable a business option, an investment option rather, of 1 million naira is, if you don't have it, you don't have it, right? If all you have available for investment is 2,000 naira, is 10,000 naira, is, whatever it is, it means that no matter how sure the 1 million naira investment opportunity is, it's not something that you can afford at this time. So how do you know an investment option that suits you? The question is, how much do you have available to invest? Remember when we talked about the money formula earlier on, right? Suggestions for managing your money. We talked about the first being the 50-30-20, and the investment portion of that was only 20% of your income. Now, if you only allocate, even if you earn the same thing with somebody in your office, right? Both of you earn 100,000. I don't know why we keep using 100,000 as the example today, but both of you earn 100,000 naira, right? And then this person has adopted the 50-30-20 rule, meaning the person has 20% of the income allocated to investments. Meanwhile, you adopt the 10-20-30-40 principle, which means you have 40% of your income allocated to investments. It means that at the end of 5 months, this person has what? 20,000 naira times 5, 100,000 naira to invest. You have 40,000 naira times 5. You have 200,000 naira to invest. So you may earn the same thing with this person, but the amount of money that you have available to invest is different. So consider your own personal situation, okay? Another thing to think about is, what are your goals? What do you really want to achieve with this investment, right? Maybe you simply want to earn an income. Maybe what you want to do is to be part owner of an organization. Maybe what you want to achieve by investing is to even gather more investment knowledge. Maybe what you want to achieve is get into some certain circles, right? There are several motivations, I would say, for investing. So you need to check, aside checking what your current situation is, the amount of money you have available, think of what your motivation is, think of what your goal is, think of what you want to achieve by those investment options that are available to you. The third thing is, how much risk are you willing to take? Okay, would you sleep well if you don't earn, if you don't get, would you be able to sleep well if you do not get your money back? Or are you going to have a heart attack? I mean, that's one way to check how much risk you are able to take, you're willing to take, right? Are you the type who says, you know what, I'm going to put my money in. If it doesn't come back, no problem, I'll put in more. And then, you know, as I keep learning about the system, one day I'll be able to make back all my losses. Or are you that person who says, if one kobo should reduce from this money, then the investment organization is in trouble. So find out, right? It's important. It's very important to check how much risk you're willing to take, because that's what determines what kind of investment options you can take. For example, right? If you're a person who wants your income guaranteed, who wants your capital guaranteed, you would very likely go for the lower risk investment opportunities like mutual funds and the like. Okay, but if you're the type who can take some higher risk, then you consider going for stocks, buying shares in organizations. Okay, generally, the higher the risk, the higher the potential returns, not returns, but potential returns. Okay, so if you're the type who says, okay, I don't mind taking a risk if that would increase the returns I can get. Risk means it may or may not happen. You may or may not get the returns. Okay. Or you might be the type who says, you know what, I just want to ensure that this capital that I'm putting in, if it doesn't increase, at least it doesn't reduce. Okay. So 3 things to pay attention to even as you try to determine the best investment option for you. First is, how much do you have to invest? Okay. Second is, what's your goal? What's the motivation? What are you trying to achieve, right? And the third is, how much risk are you willing to take? So when you put these 3 against the first 2 I mentioned, what do you already know about? Or what are you willing to learn about? Then it's easier for you to take a decision on what investment option you should go for out of the myriads that are presented to you. Okay, so with this, we've come to the end of the Personal Finance Clinic for today. I thank you for being a part of it. I thank you for showing up. I thank you for sending in your questions. Really, I'm really grateful that you did that. Without you, there will be no clinic. So thank you for showing up, such that we improve on these sessions, such that things get better. I'd like to invite you to send feedback, right? From all you have listened to, please send feedback rather to bit.ly/LIMER testimonials. LIMER is spelled LIMER, L for lion, I indigo, M for mother, E for excellence, and R for respects. Okay, LIMER, and then testimonials. Testimonials starts with a capital T. bit.ly/LIMER testimonials. So LIMER, all capitals. The T for testimonials is in capital, but every other letter is in small case. Okay, bit.ly/LIMER testimonials. That's where you send us your feedback, such that we can continue to improve on this personal finance clinics. Okay, and if you'd like us to stay in touch, on Instagram, my handle is It's Olubunmi. Okay, my first name is Olubunmi, so It's Olubunmi, ITS. It's Olubunmi. Really on all social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. That's the name to look out for. And if you'd like to send in an email, please send it to hello@limer.com.ng. Limer.com.ng is the website. Okay, so please send an email if you want to, if you need to reach out, possibly for any of these other services I mentioned, either for the LIMER Personal Finance Clinic, the private session, or the LIMER Personal Finance Hangout, which is several people coming into the same clinic session, or the personal budgeting session, which helps you to create a structure for your finances so that your finances can produce more for you. It helps you think about where the money is coming from that you're going to use to achieve the things you want to achieve. So there's the personal budgeting session, and then finally the money therapy session, which digs into the configuration, the money blueprints, right? So we may need to, may being the keyword, we may need to change things around there, right? Present to you additional information that could help you to change your mind about some long-held beliefs such that your actions going forward are different, okay? And on WhatsApp, my WhatsApp number is 0708 566 and then 66 again, 18. If you're within Nigeria, okay? But outside Nigeria, because I'm right now in Nigeria, it's +234, okay? 708 566 66 again, 18. That is the WhatsApp number if you need to send a message via WhatsApp. So thank you so much for showing up today. Thank you. I really appreciate the fact that you have taken time to listen to all this and you showed up for the session. Okay. Enjoy the rest of the day or the night, depending on when it is you're listening. Okay then. Bye-bye.